to basically...
Yeah, some of that synopsis quickly. And I'll give it a proper review tomorrow.
Okay. Well, I changed the title to Why History Matters.
Why was that?
And the start of it is saying that when we're looking at the relationship between Iran, for example, but other Middle Eastern countries as well, and other countries in general, with the West, it's very important to have an understanding of the history, that relationship. Otherwise, it's easy to be manipulated by powers that would like to manipulate our perception and simplify the situation down to something like a binary where the West is good and they're trying to bring democracy and liberal society, and the Middle Eastern countries are just a backward, outdated, kind of evil regimes, like a lesser form of people. And I think when you look at that history, it reveals a more complex picture. So one example being Iran, that back in the 1950s, the early 1950s, it was a democracy. And even if you just see video of the politicians at that time, they're all wearing like suits. They look like Western politicians. And around that time also, the world was starting to realize how valuable oil was. And it was discovered that there was massive reserves under Iran. And so British Petroleum and other powerful people who sought to take advantage of that somehow, and this is something I'm not clear on, but they somehow managed to get Iran to sign over basically the bulk of rights to that oil. And then a new leader came to power called Mossadegh, and he saw what was going on. He saw how these British petrol companies were basically plundering the vast majority of the country's natural resources and wealth. Meanwhile, he was looking around and seeing loads of Iranians in poverty, and so he basically tried to stand up for the country to reclaim their own natural resources for themselves. So he ripped up the old deal, saying that it was founded on misunderstanding and whatever. I don't know exactly the details of that.
If I look this guy up and he turns out to be a guy in a...
We could watch a video of him if you want.
If he turns out to be a guy in a sari saying death to America, I'd be very...
No.
It's not
this is what's fascinating. I didn't know this because I was thinking...
Mossadegh, it does ring a bell.
I was listening to this and I was like, imagining in my head, I was like, what he really needed to do was somehow communicate with the West, the Western people, so they could understand his point of view. And then the next thing in the documentary, they were like, yeah, he traveled to like New York or something, and he traveled to another place in America, and everywhere he went, like he was turning Americans around to his point of view. He was like, yeah, they're a sovereign nation, they have rights to their resources, we wouldn't want, another company taking the vast majority of our wealth or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was winning people over. And so the British were kind of like on the verge of giving up. The American president at that time was also sympathetic to Iran. But then a new president got into power and he had different political objectives and so on. And they were able to basically manipulate him into agreeing for the CIA to plan a coup to overthrow Mossadegh. And there was details around how they managed to do that, but eventually the CIA did this, and this is like a known fact of history. So like in 1953 or something, they basically put a bunch of money and intelligence resources into kind of causing chaos in Iran and getting Mossadegh out of power. And then they, somehow installed, I guess, a leader who would be more favourable to BP and like these other companies and give back a lot of the oil resources.
Yeah.
But it had a big effect on Iran that's lasted for many years. And then since then there's been other interventions and stuff, and Iranians have come to really distrust the West as a result of that, experiencing that manipulation when they're trying to defend themselves. And gradually the leadership has become more and more radicalized. And they see, the West as the great Satan. We see examples of that, and we don't understand why they think that, because a lot of us don't really know much about the history of what our government's intelligence agencies did abroad. But they are taught that in school. They learn about that. Anyway, that would be the synopsis.
Who taught it in school? The Iranians.
Yeah, like that they're like brought up to see America as basically like a greedy nation who's come in and like taken their resources,
That's the problem.
manipulated
They've got a
them.
radical government, so it literally brainwashes the kids. So they're like over and over with America.
Well,
That's what extremism is, isn't it? They're deranged because of how things have gone, and they hate America too much. So they probably think literally it's the devil coming in right now.
Well, they think that in their point of view, America are the bad guys, and they're just standing up to defend their own nation. And they're saying, their argument would be like, what country have we been invading? Like, we're not invading America, we're not invading Europe, we're not doing any of these things, and yet you guys just keep on coming over and bombing us. And you say that we're getting nukes. You guys have nukes, and we're not. And we're allowing your inspectors to come in every year and check our.
Yeah, but are you talking about? So who was trying to have nukes? Was Ozurbeck trying to? Did they stop him getting nuclear?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this was back in the 50s. So
I'm only concerned with the jihadi guys getting nukes. I don't give a shit. If this Mossadegh guy was like sound, that's fine. He can have a nuke.
Well, that was a long time ago.
No. I'm just talking about the guys who literally want to die. So they want everyone to die.
But how much do you actually know about them? Like, you've probably seen some clips of some of the most radical.
I know the main one's dead.
Khomeini.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Well,
that's a big moment.
I mean, there's lots of ways you can look at this whole thing.
Do not belittle that moment. That's huge.
Well, he was already 85 or something, wasn't he?
That's huge.
What did it help? What advantage?
It's huge. It's huge.
Huge in a good way or bad?
I hope it's a coin toss, James. Everything to do with religion is a coin toss. Extremist religion, you literally never know what someone's going to do. It's why I kind of hate it.
Here's what I would say though: is like if America, if their objective is that they want less violence across the Middle East, they want peace, they want democracy, whatever. One first step they could do is publicly admit the wrong that they've done in the past. And to basically come out and say on the world stage, yeah, we did some really dark stuff in the past. We manipulated you, we stole your resources, we did this, we did that. And so we can understand why you guys are upset. But without demonstrating that I can't see any way that Iran is just going to capitulate and like be like, oh, okay, yeah, we accept you bombing us and taking our resources and and telling the world that you are the good guys.
Well, apparently Christianity's on the rise. The Christians are working on the Shias right now. They think they can make something happen there. There's the Kurds up in the north. Christopher Hitchens always wore a badge for the Kurds because they were like a socialist group that he was very proud of being a part of. Obviously, very anti-despot.
I mean, I would basically agree with you that there's all kinds of problems in Iran and the Middle East, and there's lots of ways that they could improve. I would just balance it and say that we need that on the West as well, like equally. We can't be kind of acting like we're the good guys.
Yeah, but I'd rather have the information from the guy who wrote that poem on how we should improve than someone wearing, someone marching, Gays for Palestine, who's got blue hair and thinks they're going to survive living under Hamas for 2 seconds. I'm much more interested than the Iranian guy who's been living under tyranny, writing an amazing poem about how he's an atheist in that country. I'll always listen to those guys. That, for me, by the way, is fairly... I'm not sure if Dave Smith is aware of this kind of thing. I imagine Dave Smith is not reading the books I'm reading. I'll just say that. I mean, maybe he is, but I imagine it's a lot of normal Finkelstein. But, I think there is something about Douglas Murray's point. It's like, if you can't be there, at least listen to someone who's lived there, maybe. Maybe there's a fine line, and instead of just Dave Smith kind of going online, watching YouTube videos, going, oh, I've seen this guy say something. Like, that reminds me of kind of this...
I don't know.
The Australian attitude.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't fully agree with Douglas Murray's point, though. I get where he's coming from, of the being somewhere in person, you pick up on things that you maybe wouldn't get. But I also don't think that it's like you can therefore just dismiss all of Dave Smith's arguments because of that.
No, but
he is referencing a lot of stuff from history, facts that are basically established.
I know some of them are a little bit weird, but Yeah, but I think, you know, that fine line between going, well, at least it's like found a depth in someone who's lived there, he's written a whole massive poem.
Mm.
There's like a richness to that, if you know what I mean.
Mm. But yeah, I mean, as long as you see the complexity, like the vast majority of Iranians are like good people, all just like families, children, daughters, like friends.
Even the
like,
crazy ones are 99.9% perfectly viable human beings if they weren't
yeah,
fucked up in some way.
yeah,
But I'm not one of these people that thinks it's all foreign policy. I think a country can fuck itself up. Just picks the wrong book, you know, the wrong group of people read the wrong thing, and it all goes to hell. That's happened plenty of times. So
yeah, it's happened in the West as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I don't know. I think sort of maybe we're in a situation. I just find it hard to believe that we'll see this beautiful paint structure torn away in 3 days by something crazy.
What do you mean?
I just mean this room, the way it's all lovely, and we set it up like this. I just don't feel we're in a world anymore where I'm hiding under the table.
Oh yeah. I'm not worried about us in the UK. I mean, that would be pretty wild. The thing that would actually worry me.
I'm not going to worry about people in America.
The one thing that would actually worry me about being in the UK, I'm not worried about another nation invading us.
Mm.
But if we really piss off the Muslim world, there is a risk of terrorist acts. Yeah, and that's what would worry me, because that is kind of random. That's where it's like it just pops up in a city randomly. No one expects it. I still think like Hereford is unlikely. Bristol was unlikely, but it's like if it got really bad and they were happening everywhere, then probably something would happen in Bristol.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Now, yeah, the government would be terrified about that.
But we don't see it happening. You know, when was the last terrorist attack in the UK?
Oh fuck, we're gonna have one. You just said it. You jinxed it.
Well, it depends on whether England.
Oh, Jake, you know, I've already been in one. I've already avoided one.
It depends what the English government does. If they're backing whatever the America's doing in Iran right now, then yeah, maybe. But if they're not backing it, then it's less likely.
So that's what we do, is it?
Well, we
don't help out the Iranian people just because we're scared of him.
If I was convinced that what America was trying to do was help the Iranian people, then yeah, I would be for that. But I don't get that sense at all.
Bill Maher's for it.
I've never been a fan of Bill Maher. Don't you think he seems just like a bit kind of fake? Like there's something about him.
No, he's real. That's the problem. He just is that. No, he doesn't. He's a really arrogant, cocky guy. But he's completely himself. He's not lying.
Yeah, but it feels to me like a bit of a performance.
No, he's not putting on an act. Trust me. I bet he's like that all the time.
Well, that's even worse.
No, but he reads a lot, and he knows a lot, and he does what we do. He talks to incredibly clever people and smokes a lot of weed. So and he's not afraid of having a drink. And he doesn't mind having his voice recorded, which I hope you don't, because I'm putting this in the vault.
The vault. And
I'm getting, every time we talk about something intelligent, it doesn't get captured. Tonight we talked about nice stuff.
But okay, yeah. Well, this was the question I was asking earlier.
Oh yeah.
You didn't fully answer. Is like, do you think things are getting escalating, or do you think they're starting to wind down? I mean, I'm not expecting you to know, but I haven't followed it. Like, what's your sense? Like 6 months from now, do you think things will in Iran would have kind of died down?
I think it's winding down because right now every headline is about it, and I'm me. So at 1 o'clock in the morning, I just like watch shots of Iran at night.
Yeah.
Saying like, US invades Iran, like all these headlines.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a guy looking at a city with nothing going on.
Yeah.
And he's like, reading it. It's like, oh yeah, that's why there's no people in the streets. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like full on. I'm like, being a political junkie is like being a junkie, so. you're kind of
you-
stressed all the time.
Well, the other thing you were saying was JD Vance has kind of disappeared a bit from the picture.
Yeah, well,
I'm
Trump's...
kind of curious about that because he was,
Yeah.
for a while, it was actually, he was pretty favourable for like next
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Trump's behaving exactly. He's real as well. Yeah, he's himself. But he's like literally like, I think. Do you know what Trump reminds me of? Andrew Dice Clay.
Remind me who he is.
Can we go in here with this and just watch a bit of TV? No. But I think
Wait, so are you sure that it was the first 2-3 cliffs? It was one. What was the? Was it 6 of us the first time? So it was me, Matt, Steve, Seth. Was there another person? Was it 5 of us? And then Matt all came next time.
I didn't go to 3.
No, but the first 2 I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was.
So it was me, you, Matt Bennett,
Yeah.
Steve Allen, Seth Mitchell. Was there a 6th person? Oh, Matt Watts.
Yeah.
He was in the first one as well.
Both of them.
6, yeah. So that was 6 the first time. I think that's right.
Hootie for the Hooties.
And then it was just Matt Woodward came as the extra.
Yeah.
It's like it's actually hard for me now to distinguish those 2 trips.
Yeah.
Much. Although there was like those girls showed up from that back then.
Yeah. Could you pass a refill?
So you want to start a business? You might think you need a team of people and fancy tech skills, but you don't. You just need to go down the arrow. I'm Walton Goggins, and as an actor, I'm an expert at looking like I know what I'm doing. Go any girl uses.
Right, that's not the guy I'm talking about, but
So you were saying what? Trump reminds you of this guy. Or who was it? Reminds you?
Not this guy.
His next gentleman comes from Brooklyn. Okay?
Yeah, Brooklyn Head. What's his name?
that's Rodney Dangerfield.
And I guess the best way to describe him is to say he's the typical boy next door. Say hello to Andrew Dice Clay. Okay, here we go. Andrew,
I'm this guy. Like John Travolta from Greece.
It's quite funny now.
Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Long came a Spidey, sat down beside her. He said, "Hey, what's in the bowl, bitch?" Jack and Joe went up the hill, both with $1.25. Joe came down with $2.50. Little boy Blue. He needed the money. Was an old lady lived in a shoe. She had so many kids, the uterus fell out. Mary, quite contrary. Trim that pussy, it's so damn hairy. Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to get her old dog a bone. She bent over. Rover took over. She got a bone of her own. I don't know. Yeah, good old Mother Goose. Remember her? I fought her.
Remember Dog Ace?
Yeah.
I did base him on that.
Okay, yeah. So what has this been like the 60s?
Yeah, so
No.
Or 50s or the
90s.
So is that the
90s?
deal, huh?
Yeah.
What? No,
How long
it's
ago
earlier
was
than that, right?
4 months.
The guy who introduced him as well, he was like really old.
80s.
Yeah.
What did you say,
sure.
60s?
Yeah. I was thinking this was pretty old.
But you gotta be careful, you know, when you get a good one, because
You're not good at telling the difference between eras.
it's not like 4 or 5 years ago. We
It's
come
not
on
look
by
like
with a
80s to
straight
me,
face.
it's old.
No, you're basing that on the fact you think he literally is in the 50s
Now
in
we're
Greece.
with the guys.
That fashion went out of style 30 years before this was filmed. You are aware of that
Having
fact.
coffee. Really? Yeah.
You do know that, right?
I would have guessed this was around that time. That's like what I would have guessed.
What?
But if you do
It's
When
just
Greece
really
was-
old, like, yeah, like the fashion of everyone there, and like,
You know what I'm talking
and the
about?
guy who was speaking before, I thought he was really old.
Oh, I thought you. Sorry, I got really arrogant for a second. I thought you meant Dice Clay outfit looked like it was from that era.
No,
Oh.
what was that era then? That was what, like,
Literally like mid 50s.
But when would you guess this was recorded? You're saying the 80s?
Maybe 88.
Really?
All right. She draw a nice one. All right. Bottom line, you suck a good
87.
dick, yes or
Okay,
no?
yeah, pretty close.
Year before I was born.
Suck the chrome off a trailer and lay back
Maybe
with
someone
your
played
back the
him
way
to me in the womb.
lady, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I'll tell you, today they don't suck dick the way they used to. They dabble in it. They lay there, they flick it, they smack it. Oh, look at the way it jumps. You can sing and dance too, now suck my cock, honey. And you know they don't know what they're doing, because the minute they start
What were
to
you
go,
connecting this guy to though? You're saying Donald Trump arrived or something?
Yeah, but yeah, someone who's literally not afraid to say anything. And he's so got so much presence and he just like powers his way to the top. I mean, I take this guy over Donald Trump.
I mean, they like us to go down on them. You ever see a vagina up close? It's frightening. It's like a haunted house down there. It's covered with shrubbery and weeds. You gotta cut through with a machete. And depending on their mood, sometimes they'll just lay there. Like you're not even in the room. You gotta check in with them. Honey, am I in the right ballpark? A little lower. Circle to the left. What are we back in the truck in here? Because once you go down there, this ain't no 5-minute trip. This is a weekend. And I'll tell you something, after 10 minutes it gets boring, you know? That's why I wear a Walkman.
Oh, by the way, yeah, he's also Jewish. His real name is Andrew Silverstein. And because of anti-Semitism, he changed it to Andrew Dice Clay.
And then they turn around and say, I'm not
Although it was also...
Silverstein.
Actually, no, Clay is still Jewish, actually. So I think he kept it Jewish, but didn't sound quite so obvious.
So people were being anti-Semitic in him.
Yeah. So, well, not him, probably his mum. And, yeah, changed it from Silverstein to Dice Clay. And obviously Dice was just him trying to come up with a cool name, and then he came up with this character. He used to be like a Jewish like nerd, like Jerry Lewis. And then he just, for some reason, came up with this character. Then at some point, the actual person became the character.
Yeah.
So now he's on shows, and you can't tell the difference between him and the character. It happens. It's very weird when it happens. I don't know what that phenomenon is.
Well, I guess we just
When someone becomes their act, and they can't tell the difference. That's almost a form of mental illness.
Oh yeah, you know it, I know it, so who we bullshitting, huh? I screwed everything in the house when I was a kid. Didn't make no difference.
I remember you see this all the time. It's like in school, certain kids act a certain way. You know, they speak in cool terms. They like act like they're a kind of gangster or something like that. And it's like they're not acting in a sense of they're trying to do a performance, but like they're basically doing that. And I remember as a kid always just thinking like I just want to hang around people where I can just actually be myself. I don't want to have to like perform a role.
What was in those bombs? Fertilizer?
So maybe there's this moment when
But
you.
it's the thing of like I guess you think if I act this way, I get more of the things that I want. Like it works well. People like me in a different way if I do that.
Yeah.
And so you just start transitioning into something that's like.
Yeah. Maybe there's that moment when you just realise you kind of. You am what you am, you know, and just. He's so happy with himself now. He's done really well. He's got loads of money, so he doesn't give a shit. He still acts the same. He still smokes too much.
Don't you think like if you were with him and he was just staying in this role all the time, like at first it'd be yeah, it's funny, it's entertaining, whatever. But after a while, you'd just be like, snap out a little bit. Like, can I ask you a serious question? And you don't try and come back with a joke.
Well, it depends. He's not literally on show. I think it's the Gordon Ramsay. It's the Gordon Ramsay syndrome. So Gordon Ramsay can probably have a 3-hour-long podcast and it'd be absolutely fine. And then you get him in a moment when there's someone who needs a cigarette, you know, the eggs are burnt, he's got to turn this place around in 48 hours. He's going to go to town on you.
Introducing the next level of driving experience. More intelligent, more natural.
But, would you want to work for him?
Gordon Ramsay?
Yeah.
No, I don't really like him as a person. I can see it as being entertaining.
Yeah. Well, you'd work there just for fun.
I don't think so. Like, I mean, first of all, I'm not particularly drawn to being a chef. That sounds stressful in itself. And then particularly under Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
And just on principle, I'd be like, nah, I don't want to work like that. It's just it's like his ego.
But that's what got him where he is.
It's also what gets like dictators and all the worst people where they get.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a dictator. They just need to be benign.
Well, it's just a dictator is a very limited form of collective intelligence.
No, but
even if you got Einstein in the position of dictator, it's not as good as what you could have if you had participation.
No, but what level are dictators? Because I would argue a business manager of that business should be a dictator. Would you agree with that?
I think it depends what type of business it is. Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Where would you accept a dictator in something?
Well, like a small company.
A small company.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even against there being the possibility of it at larger companies, but I think, just the question is like, are they making the wisest choices compared to if there was input from? I mean, it depends. Yeah, if you have someone you're calling a dictator, but they're actually listening to people at all levels of the organisation, and they're taking that into account, and they're acting wisely, then I don't know. Would you still call that a dictator? I guess I'm associating it with someone who's ego-driven and is like just trying to get the best for themselves. Basically.
Yeah. I'm not sure dictator works in a small company, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
I tried.
Elected president is like a dictator for 4 years. I mean, it depends what you mean by dictator, really.
Well, yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
What do you mean by dictator? How would you define that?
Someone who is really like, they literally police what all their people do. So a head chef is all his recipes.
Right, yeah, he's just trying to micromanage and control.
Yeah, micromanaging, yeah.
Yeah.
And he can do it because he's clever.
Well, would you, how large scale would you trust one individual to do that?
Well, I tried
Maybe
it.
in a company.
I tried it with Mockingbird Press.
Yeah.
It's really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really do it because people are coming in with different skills, and you've got to absorb them into what you do and take on all the talent, and then all I'm doing is kind of absorbing this thing. So I'm seeing the way Katie was adding hue to the magentas and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think I remember Joe had a very good way of photographing stuff that meant, well, he worked out something on the camera that I didn't know, which was like a grid thing. So So when that was really rocking, it was a joy to like have these people that I trained up to that degree, and yeah, we were colour matching everything great, and it was a rotating team of different people, of different backgrounds. We had a Polish person, an Italian person, some of them I think living in Frome, and yeah, it was glorious, and the money was coming in, everyone was getting paid, and then yeah, and then fuck it, and then like 4 things hit, so it was just reminded me of this like Tig Notaro person who's like, she basically, her life changed when it was just, she got breast cancer, her mum died, and she married someone, she broke up with her just as her breast cancer came back, and then Louis C.K. basically I think he like taped her set at a comedy club once, and then just like leaked that, and it made her a star for a while. And then like when I just like watched that, I was just like, hang on a second, what's just happened here? My dad's been diagnosed with heart disease. The dog's just died. My grandma's been like just dying. My mum's gone insane. My granddad dies. And I've got to run this business and walk the dog and try to manage all these egos at the same time while he's literally in hospital dying.
Yeah.
And then he didn't die.
Well, that's an example of why psychopaths are often good in that dictatorial role, because they don't really care about anyone else. They don't care about their parents that are elderly and dying. They don't care about that. All they're thinking about is just the work and succeeding in that.
Yeah.
But then it's bad for society, because we want people with empathy.
Well, I wish I was a psychopath. Well, that's why you need laws, isn't it?
Yeah, I kind of agree. If laws are set up well.
Alright, if you let me have some of your weed thing, I'll let you talk about this article properly. You are enjoying the weed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just check that. It's recording. Cool. Shall we put on some music or something as opposed to like distract? Okay. But it's going to be good music. No gay stuff. Can I choose the first one?
Yeah, go for it.
Actually, while you do it.
What you want me to search for?
It would be good to hear Tanara one.
T.
I.
Yeah.
N. A. R. There.
What's wrong?
Top one.
He's good.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
It used to be on Jules Holland, I used to remember it. And Rain Man now, hold on.
Let's do this one. It's got a good video as well.
What makes your teeth unique is what makes them hard to clean, especially with one of these. Oral-B Iron's dentist-inspired round brush head
Can I just get a photo of it before you
into
edit
a
it?
manual
Yeah.
to stand for 100%
Is that the whole thing?
Your perfect cleaning
Yeah.
starts
Or
with
is there more below? Okay. Look.
Huh?
Okay, I got a picture of it.
Alright, it's got my name on it.
Louis R. Hesiante.
Yeah.
What? Robert, is it?
Yeah. God, I'm not going to change it to RS. So yeah, there you go. You want to talk about it? Read it. See yourself. Kurt Cobain hated world music. So, what have you been doing?
I was just looking at some Instagram stuff. But yeah, rather than me reading it again, I can connect it in a way to what you were saying before. So like, imagine the situation with Mockingbird Press. Like, someone from the outside might just see Louis was managing it and it sort of like didn't work out in the end or whatever.
Yeah.
They might come up with their judgments. And then imagine now they go back and they actually get to see really what was going on, and they see all the things he described
Yeah.
that were happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly they see all of that, and it completely changes your perception of what was going on. It provides a much broader context.
Yeah.
And suddenly they might go from judging you to being like really empathetic or something.
But I would have thought it would.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's not really their responsibility.
And I think the same thing when I think about like Iran. Like a lot of people are very judgmental about Iran. I mean, another example I was thinking of was like, imagine some kid that was difficult in school, that was like getting into fights or something, and like seemed like a trouble child. You might have a bunch of judgments, and then you go back later in life and you realise that he had a massive like struggles at home. His dad was like beating him, or like who knows what was going on.
Yeah.
And it changes your perception. And I think if we actually want to solve some of the big problems of conflicts in the world, and do you take Iran and America as an example, I don't think it's going to happen through one side obliterating the other side. It's going to happen through actually understanding what each side has gone through in their experiences, and the empathy that actually comes out of that. And then them being an enemy kind of starts to dissolve. You can't see them as an enemy anymore. You start to see them as like almost like a family member. Also, it's like they're a part of our global family. Iran, like I was saying in the article, is like over 3,000 years old. They've got ancient history. There's loads of great things about them, things that they've done, and we need to figure out how we like make good with them, make peace with them.
Yeah.
And I think that requires from the West, I think the only way that can happen is if the West also admits what they've done wrong. If they're not willing to admit that they've done any wrong.
Stop calling them the West.
Well, America, England, France, probably, like some of the European countries.
No, you can't just call it the West. What school do you want to teach what to the kids? So we need to teach the history of the clashes between civilizations more in history. Yeah, that's it. I reckon. Yeah, just hang on a second. That's not a big tweak actually. Samuel Huntington wrote a book called The Clash of Civilizations, and Anthony Fukuyama wrote a book called The End of History. Maybe they should be like compulsory for a term or something right now, like an emergency interjection into the culture, and spread that meme like wildfire. And it's not even something that needs to be taught by the schools. It's something people who are interested in how we can solve these problems, work out why those two people wrote those books. And then after that, Charles Murray wrote a book called Coming Apart, and then that became a scandal because he brought up the differences between racial IQ and certain things. But there's a reason these people were writing these books. There was something odd going on then. And there might be something odd going on now. And read the Satanic Verses. Because the Ayatollah hadn't. And he couldn't have. We need a renaissance in the Muslim world.
What about in the whole world?
We can only do one world at a time.
I think we need a renaissance globally. We just have it in Iran, but America doesn't stop it.
America's already had its renaissance.
It's a mess right now.
It's already had a renaissance.
Committing all kinds of crimes, it's destroying the world.
It's already had a renaissance.
It had one, yeah.
Everything you wear is made by America, man. You're living in America. You're living in America. It's destroying the world, but gotta love it in a way. You know, if it wasn't for America, I wouldn't have met you.
I mean, I'm not 100% anti-America.
Yeah, well, lay off for a bit.
They definitely need a renaissance right now.
Sorry? We're not in a renaissance right now.
America needs a renaissance.
Yeah, it isn't. Well, it doesn't feel like it's in one though. It's very, I think it is, but it's very underground. It's only the podcast I'm listening to where I'm like, oh, that's really good, and then it's all turned on the mainstream and there's nothing.
Well, I do think that there is an underground renaissance building up. That's the thing, a renaissance doesn't just happen like that. It takes a long time building under the surface, and what we recognise as the renaissance is the moment it erupts out from the underground and starts to get into the mainstream.
Yeah.
I think that's building now.
Yeah, and there's loads of people that are clever, so just like this little podcast is just a fun thing to do. But it also means it's like little life hacks, like the fact that you just have such obscure taste that you don't get to watch an advert, so it means you can skip an advert on the podcast. It's just like kind of life. Oh, I hate cliches. This is where I nicked the chorus for that song.
What year would you reckon this was?
90s.
Okay. Is it just a house thing or something? Yeah, it's a house thing.
Yeah.
What does this represent to you as like this whole of America, the positive side?
Spare a thought for the stay-at-home voter. I'm not sure if that means we're in favour of postal voting or not. I bet communists hate rock stars, don't they?
No? This is what you mean by communist.
Well, basically, it's just talented people working out how to con the public.
The left is known for having better musicians than the right.
Hang on a sec. No, what I'm saying is Why aren't they more annoyed about rock stars earning loads of money? Because they've conned the public.
The thing is,
It's just bands are just a scam.
no, I don't think so. It brings a lot of joy to people. They're willing to pay for it.
Yeah, but if the Beatles weren't there, someone else would be.
The thing is, I don't think people on the left are worried about rock stars, what level of wealth. That's not really much of a problem. They're kind of like the level of wealth that is acceptable.
They annoy me.
Like-
They annoy me.
Maybe they've got tens of millions, hundreds of millions if they're really
No, I'm
successful.
more annoyed by rock stars. Why are they treated any more special? They've just conned everyone the same way everyone else has, and they're not paying their taxes. A lot of them. Stones nip over. They got all their money in there somehow.
So
Why
what-
are they not concerned about that?
concerned about rock stars? Well, just because it's not like enough money to be actually.
Oh, I don't give a shit. You can't even
Dangerous.
people care about anything. Something.
Once you have billions, like you
Why
really
is it
are
not
taking
known?
away
Why is
wealth
it not
from
like
people.
people talking about this? Why aren't the kids annoyed about this on social media about rock bands getting loads of money and people like that? I never hear that from these.
Yeah,
fucking-
but it's because there's not much money. It's like the billionaires are the ones that
Every
really have
little
money.
help, James. Every little helps. What do you expect? Elon Musk is going to pay his tax bill? That's not happening.
Well, musicians produce something valuable for society,
Yeah.
and they get fairly wealthy. A lot of billionaires don't produce anything useful; they just suck wealth out of the economy and do damage to the world.
Yeah, but you're aiming too high. You've got to sort out the small bits before you get to those guys. You're never going to get to those guys without taking out the next rung.
So what you're saying, tax the working class first,
Who,
and then when you've done that, then tax the middle class.
who's the
and
working
then tax-
class? What, the working class? What, the Rolling Stones? That's the working class.
No, you're saying deal with the small guys first, and then work up to the big ones.
The Rolling Stones first.
So what? That's your
That's the base.
policy you want to run on. Let's tax musicians.
Tax the Rolling
When
Stones.
Sophie started in insurance, she was afraid of being seen as dull, so she told people she was a vet. And that's how she found herself face to face with a snake. Before passing.
Why is it? Where do you have that instinct though that you feel more annoyed about musicians making money than billionaires?
I didn't give a shit if they make money. I wanted to make loads of money. Why aren't they getting taxed?
Well, the musicians are.
The Rolling Stones aren't.
Yeah, they must have been taxed.
No.
Yeah.
No.
What do you mean they weren't taxed?
No.
How did they legally survive if they didn't get taxed?
Have you never heard of a tax exile?
A what? Tax XR?
Yeah. A
What's
tax
that?
exile.
Exile?
Yeah.
No, what's that?
It's what musicians do. We got taught it in the first day on Access to Music. It's the first lesson.
Yeah. What is it?
Earn a load of money in music.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first lesson. This is on day one. And go over to Switzerland, put the money in the Swiss bank in cash, and then you don't have to pay tax on it.
Well, this is what I'm saying, right? The rich get to avoid taxes while the poor have to pay it. It's the opposite of what it should be.
So we were taught that in school.
Mm-hmm.
I went into the world thinking that was the right thing to do.
Yeah, this is why we need to change the rules of the game. Because as long as the rules of the game mean you go to Switzerland, you can get away with it. Of course, people are going to teach that. It's like that's how you save money. But it's not just. It should be that the poor have more and more ways to avoid taxes because they're already struggling. And the wealthier you get, it's like, yeah, you actually can spare it. You benefit a lot more from this.
And by the way,
society,
his
so you owe more
his
back.
story was literally like he'd kind of made it. I think he was part of a band called, I won't say his name, and I won't say the college either because he does know me and I tagged him on a Facebook post a second ago with a very detailed story about that first day. And I'm not saying I wouldn't have done the same in his situation, by the way.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
But there needs to be some kind of law then, because if you've made your whole name in the country, you're from England. You know, you went to schools over here.
Yeah.
country a lot. And if you are just nipping over so you don't have to contribute, that is, for me, it is the same. I mean, what are you saying, not much money? The Rolling Stones, the Beatles, we're talking about billions. Billions.
Well, if you combine them, maybe. But,
Elvis?
yeah, I kind of agree a bit, but, well, here's a counter, there's a devil's advocate.
I don't think music
Raise
is,
your
I don't
point.
think music is special. So, I put no value on music whatsoever. Like, it's just, it's part of the world. It's like an element. It's print. It's, it's like tables. That table's there because it's a table. If there was a record on there, the record's there because it's a record. A song in the air. You could whistle something to me right now and it would cheer me up. Do you know what I mean? So it's just, it's not that important. I don't really think we need to value it.
I disagree with it. I think that music, I mean, it's up to people. Do they want to buy a record? Do they want to pay to go to a gig? If they enjoy it, that shows that they value it. But yeah, I think people should be. I mean, musicians wouldn't be nowhere near who I would be targeting first. I don't even think it would make much of a difference. The point I was going to say actually was the devil's advocate point, which is what you always bring up, is okay, what if you start taxing these people, they're just going to move abroad. And my point is like...
Well, that's what happened, by the way.
Yeah, but I don't think that means that we shouldn't tax people.
But remember the song Taxman? The song Taxman came out. Hang on a second.
Well, if people just leave a country because they don't want to contribute to that society, I say let them leave.
No, but do you remember?
It reveals who they are. They don't want to be part of this nation.
No, do you remember what you don't know what the tax rate was when Keith Richards left the country, do you? It was 99 cents to the pound.
No, it wasn't that much.
It was.
No, I heard the worst it got to was 90%.
Well, that's awful.
Yeah, that was like at the time of the Beatles.
Yeah. So,
Well, it was when England was doing the greatest, though. It coincided with that. It was easy to get houses, everyone was doing great, and then you get neoconservative policies and people saying we need to cut the taxes.
Are you calling Keith Richards a neocon?
No, I'm saying that it's neocon policies that have screwed over this nation and a lot of the West.
Oh, so you're slagging off the 90% thing?
No, I'm saying, yeah, maybe, I don't know, that does sound quite high.
Yeah.
But if you're making billions, then yeah, you don't need more than 100 million.
Yeah, but Keith Richards is probably earning 10 million, so it's like,
Yeah, so he gets 1 million, I guess.
Yeah, that's not enough, is it, for being a Rolling Stone?
I would say, yeah, give him 2 million or something, or 3 million, or maybe even 5 million.
I reckon 8.
But
I'd go 20, probably. I reckon 8. He's Keith Richards, James. He played Satisfaction.
Yeah. But like I said, he's not the sort of person I'm worried about. When you talk about $1 billion, that's 1,000 million.
Yeah.
And then there's people now. Elon Musk is getting towards $1 trillion.
I know. I don't know why we're not shaving off $10 million just lumps off these things. Some geniuses need to just get in the room, work out how to just do this, because it's probably in the code. Can't we just actually make it like some kind of crime? Every government in the world signs up to a multilateral treaty to treat this like a condition that is actually poisoning the economics of the entire universe into every single planet and potential planets we're going to be dealing with in 40,000 years, hopefully. And then...
Well, this is my argument as why you do need the global scale thing. If one country says, okay, we can't allow people to be like having all these tax loopholes where they get really wealthy and they move it all to Switzerland or whatever and they're doing all this stuff, so we have to stop that. If they do that, and the next country next to them doesn't do that, then all the rich people move there. So you need to have a global coordination where you say, global wide, we're going to agree that we're not going to let these people run away with all the wealth of their nations. If you do that, then it actually can work. very hard to coordinate. We're not capable of it right now. We're looking for, I think. But ultimately, I think that's how you get there. It's a bit like if you imagine the United Kingdom, if it was united, like let's just say there was Bristol, London, all these like different cities, they have their own different laws. And in one country, in one city, you just allow people to get away with not paying taxes. And another one, they try to do it, then everyone's going to move to the one where they can get away with stuff. And if one city, they're like, we're going to stop criminals, and another one doesn't, then the criminals move to the other one. And you need to be able to have nationwide laws and rules.
Mm.
And I think we need that ultimately at the global scale, but we can't trust America, clearly. We can't trust any of the big countries in their own, that we need a global scale democracy.
There isn't actually one country right now I'd pick and just trust randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the whole kind. It's like every single human being in the world is on fire with some kind of extra level of emotion. It's just a heightened world. I don't think I'd be paying this much attention to it if it wasn't, to be honest. What's the weirdest thing you... I mean, Bill Maher's talking about UFOs.
Is he? What's he talking about then?
He probably believes they're on... He believes on Earth and stuff. I mean, they're not, but...
I mean, I haven't even actually looked into the subject for a little while now, but...
Well, they're not on Earth, but he's... Yeah, I don't know. Don't buy that anyway. Don't buy that either. I wish that was true.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to show up right away. But I mean, every time I say it, that I believe that that's true. I'm aware of like how crazy it is, but I really have looked into it a lot, and I've been as surprised as anyone else would be to think that that's even possible. But this universe is crazy. You wouldn't expect to find a world of humans on this planet in the middle of this galaxy.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that, you're just voyaging through space for thousands of millions of years, you're just expecting to just find dead planets, whatever, and then you land on Earth and you see this. You're just like, what is going on? This is like so unexpected.
Yeah, but there's a fine line between...
Like, every one of those humans is trillions of cells collaborating together. Like, we don't even think about that level. As humans, we filter all that out. We just see that, okay, there's a musician there playing. But every one of those musicians is trillions of cells, like, coordinating at, like, an unbelievable level. Like, just to move around, like, the signals passing through the nervous system and the muscles coordinating, and, like, and then the brain, all the neurons going, like, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's just one human being, and then a world of people doing all of this.
Yeah, it's essentially why tyranny is moribund.
What does that mean, moribund?
To quote Alan Partridge, it means... It's a review of Alan Partridge, actually, of his radio show. Dead or dying, according to Webster's dictionary.
Moribund.
Yeah, moribund.
Okay.
Tyranny is moribund.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who wants it? No one. Right, what are we watching?
Yeah, and it seeds it sows the seeds of its own destruction.
It sows the what?
It sows the seeds of its own destruction. What's that phrase from? Like the Bible or something. Something sows the seeds of its own destruction.
I don't know what you're talking about. Hold on a second. This is a genius podcast level stuff, so it needs to be really good. There it is. This is a nice song. Oh, adverts.
Yeah, so this is on the theme of seeds and sowing seeds.
Yeah.
Which is like a very biblical kind of metaphor. But it is interesting to think about that, like when we act in the world, every action we do, it's almost like sowing a seed in a certain way. It doesn't just have the immediate consequences. Like, say you say something to someone, they might react in that moment, but then they might go away and think about it, or like for years to come. You know, you're now thinking back to memories of your childhood. Like, there was a moment where Ben Johnson said something, and in that moment he didn't think about the fact that 15, 20 years from now, Louis would be reminiscing of this very moment, and like the fact that I chose to say this instead of that, like, means that it sticks in his memory for all that time. Like, everything that we do, like, has these like effects that ripple out over long periods of time.
Are you questioning my theory?
I'm not questioning it. No. What was your theory?
That I have a photographic memory of what everyone said.
I'm not questioning that. Although I would question that, but
Yeah, I know, it should be questioned.
no, photographic is maybe too specific.
Dictaphonic. Dictaphonic, I'm calling it. But yeah, I think every writer has its place.
Mm-hmm. But what I was going to say is that there's ways that you can act in the world that like get immediate positive results, but simultaneously are sowing the seeds of its own destruction eventually. And I think like someone who is, you know, like too egoic or like manipulative or psychopathic, sometimes they can actually be successful for a period of time, but whether they know it or not, they're turning people against them in all these other ways, and eventually it's like it's going to swallow them up and destroy them.
Right.
And simultaneously, you can do things that are like sowing positive seeds, and you can struggle for a while, but eventually they build up and they come back and support you, and lead to something good.
What would be your advice to someone who was of that personality type to find a career that was suitable for them? Let's say they're a nice guy and they're just they have that.
Not talking about yourself, just a friend in the video.
Yeah. He's dead, but yeah.
So what would be the advice to someone?
Yeah.
Well, according to that, which is my philosophy, is I would say focus on doing good things. Focus on making other people's lives better. And if you do that, it's like, then you're sowing positive seeds, and those things will come back to support you. So I would say, yeah, okay, maybe this is even one of the core moral tensions of all humans.
Any better than that?
Well, there's two ways you can go. One way basically is serve yourself or serve the world or serve others. If you seek to serve yourself, sometimes you can gather up things and it can seem like you're doing well for a while, but eventually, like, it's not sustainable, and I don't know. Whereas if you seek to serve the world, it will come back to support you, and it will, I don't know. But
And how are you planning
I'm
to
not saying
serve?
it very articulately.
How are you planning to serve the world? Serve the world tomorrow. Oh, yeah, you seen all these.
Well, it's fractal. You can think about it in terms of what your long-term goals of how you would want to.
Are you hanging around for a bacon sandwich tomorrow, by the way?
Yeah. Well, okay. Is the question what can I get from the world, or is it what can I give to the world?
What can you get from
And the
the world?
temptation is to say, what can I get from life? What can I extract and take? But if you flip it round, it's unintuitive. But if you flip it round and you start to think about like what can I give, then actually you start to receive you'll actually get what you really want in the end.
That sounds almost like Buddhist or something.
Yeah, I would say it's like the core of Christianity and maybe Buddhism as well.
Oh, so you're talking about this on like a spiritual level?
It's like it's counterintuitive to the nature of the ego.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
it's like the secret to
Yeah. Oh yeah.
to
fine.
life.
Oh, I just realised. Yeah, this is pot talk. So we just kind of realised that pot exists. And that feminism rules. Helen is goddess.
Well, there's a flower showing there, and it was just making me think about in nature that like a tree. If you want a tree that can be really successful is one that gives something to the ecosystem. Like whether a tree that grows apples, like fresh fruit on it, it's like a gift to everything around it, and that's why it survives and it sticks on through generation after generation.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I heard Mark Ipia White talk today. He said arancinis
Yeah.
means little
Spices.
little oranges. You know the little risotto balls that
Yeah. Arancini, yeah.
little oranges. How cool is that?
What he said they are, he described them.
No, that's what it is. I didn't know that, but yeah.
I don't know what you mean.
I learned that
They
today.
are little oranges.
That's what it
What's
is.
the
It translates as an Italian.
Oh, right.
Arancini translates
Really?
as little oranges.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I know this because of Donnie Darko.
That's weird you say that. Me and Ollie's watched Donnie Darko like in the last week, and I hadn't seen it since we watched it in Matt Watts's. Were you there when we watched it? I remember seeing it in Matt Watts's house. I can't remember who else was there.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I would have expected it to be you and maybe
Yeah.
I don't know a fourth person.
But no, he's like one of the. Oh, he's who inspired Stuck in a Moment.
Mm.
And apparently this journalist, right, was like just in a studio and this band came in
Mm.
and he was there and he just in excess walked in and he looked to his friend and he just goes, mate, they're the 4 luckiest guys in the world right now. Just because this Michael Hutchins guy came on stage.
Yeah, I can see this connection to Donnie Darko.
Mm.
But my memory of it was that we watched it at Matt Watts's, and we didn't really chat much through the film. And then the end of it, Matt Watts was like, "Well, that was a shit film," and I was like simultaneously thinking that was like one of the most interesting films I'd seen in a long time. And it shocked me like how different our perception was. We just sat through the whole film, and we both had completely different reactions.
That's such an annoying film, actually. I didn't think it was that great.
I would say I didn't enjoy it as much watching it a second
It
time.
didn't.
I did
we
enjoy
were,
it.
oh, you know what? Because we were watching cool films quite young, right? So I was expecting The Godfather, aged about 4, and then it wasn't like this masterpiece.
The Godfather, isn't it?
No, Donnie Darko.
Okay, alright, okay, yeah.
But you know, when you're a kid and everything just seems like it's the greatest film ever. And, you know, Ace Ventura is genius.
Well, I was talking to Eloise about Aeroplane. I was reminiscing about
Oh, that is genius.
But I had another thing where I watched it probably with you guys, and I remember like crying with laughter, like actually to the point where I was in
No,
tears.
it's the best thing. It's the best.
And
thing.
then I remember hanging out with like Joe and Ellen and those guys.
Mm.
And one night I was like, oh yeah, you guys have got to see Aeroplane. It's so funny.
Mm.
And I convinced them to put it on, and then we started watching it, and like it was just like no laughter whatsoever. Like they were not finding it funny at all. And it was like I couldn't laugh. It was like the atmosphere was so different. It was like I didn't find it as funny either, and it made me realise like how much the context in which you're in, like the people you're around. If everyone's like in the right mood,
No, but
it
they're
can- something can
objectively.
be
They
hilarious.
don't like Airplane.
Well, when we watched it that time, it was like
They're not allowed on the
no
podcast.
one.
They're
no
not
one was
allowed.
finding it
They're
funny
not
at
allowed on
all.
the podcast. That's dead done with, you know, like Airplane. Airplane rules.
Well, it's also just what, I guess, even what mood you're in at a certain time.
No, it's not. It's not art. If I was...
Put on a bit of Airplane, that would be quite funny to see. I remember the scene where, like, do you remember he's like sweating because he's like landing the plane?
Yeah.
And then it's like water starts like pouring down his head. So funny. Oh yeah, and we also watched a documentary on Hare Krishna. This is why we even talked about it. It's because of this scene. We watched a documentary about murder amongst the Hare Krishna. It followed 4 different cult leaders in the Hare Krishna movement, and all of them ended up basically just going insane.
Yeah.
And I hadn't realised that there'd been murders and drug smuggling to like make money for the Hare Krishna movement.
George Harrison, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, he was featured in it.
Yeah.
It's just that whenever I start to talk about Elaine, I always get so carried away. I lose all track of time.
Well, I could go on for hours, but I'd probably start to bore you. You know, I really couldn't blame Elaine. Elaine built a clog of drainage in the mud, so we had to take a special jeep up to the main road. In fact, we were lucky to even get a jeep since just the day before.
Can't imagine how.
I think it's a certain type of humour that not everyone finds funny.
I don't know. Everyone does. Apart from. Who was that? Ellen? Who was it? Ellen?
It was like Ellen, Joe, it might have been like Faye, Rachel Lilly or something. I can't remember. And probably like Paul and Matt Bennett, maybe, or I don't know.
What? Matt even didn't like it.
I can't remember, no.
No,
I
Matt
think
likes it.
would
Matt likes it.
enjoy
Matt likes it. Matt likes it. Matt likes it. No one knows my friend better than I. Have you read my essay called The Genius for Friendship or whatever it's called?
No, I haven't seen that one. I haven't read that one
Oh,
yet.
really? It's great. That's the one you have to pay for.
How much do you have to pay for access?
50.
50 quid. Jesus Christ.
But that gives you everything. I mean everything. I'll talk about a deer I shot. You ever killed a deer, James?
No, you haven't killed the deer either. What are you talking about?
Yeah, once we were lost on a camping trip, and I was with a vagabond at the time.
What's a vagabond?
A vagabond is a peasant, and he was carrying a brace of pheasants actually. He handed me a rifle and said, "Over there, young boy."
I'm sorry I had to wake you.
There's a stag going by. So I took aim. The guy took the blame,
Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry I have to wake you. You're a doctor.
and I hopped back into my
We have some passengers
pocket.
who are very sick. Could you come take them?
Yes, of course.
And then I looked up,
Look at him. Do you know what he had for dinner? Yes, of course. We both had fish. Why? Oh, it's.
and ended.
And then I looked at him, and he looked at me. He said,
And then he said,
I live in din.
I live in sin. And he hanged his.
Wrist limp.
Hold on, let me do this properly. James, give me the weed thing. No, give me. Actually, no.
No, I remember this, but these lyrics better than you.
Yeah.
I'd say you
Well,
got it wrong.
I need to not be insane then. So the normal thing.
Surely you can't be serious. I am serious. Now don't call me sure.
Was it? And then he hung his wrist limp like. That's something to say, but listen to me when I say, I was young once. No, that's right. I was young once. Don't you know that's tight?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Which one you can be? It's like that, and that's the way it is.
Any of it. No, that's a bit angry, that one. Run DMC's nice. It's not too angry.
Thinking about extra
Especially when there's Laura Kramer studio.
perfect solution to so many.
Yeah, so it is. This is impromptu, so we didn't get any extra points for that, necessarily. So I was hanging on the allotment just the other day when I came across a queer who was acting rather gay. He was tattooed up, looks like a gay on my farm. No, that wasn't.
He had tattoos that were peeling off his arms. Does that sound right?
So I feel it once, that's right, that's done once, So I was on the allotment the other day when I came across a queer who was acting rather gay. He was leathered up, just like a cow on my farm. He had stick-on tattoos that were peeling off his arm. Then I looked at him, and he looked at me. I said, "What's your job?" He said.
I live in there.
And his wrist looked like there was something to say, but listen to me when I say.
I was young once. No, that's right. I was young once.
No, that's tight. Bum ba da 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 bum. I was young once.
Yeah, that's right.
I was cool once.
You know that's tight.
I was young once.
You know that's right.
I was cool once.
You know that's tight.
Yo.
I have to find the originals. It'd be great to listen to them again. I still think they exist. Where would they be there? I've got a hard drive that's dead now. And it can be restored, but it's like 250 quid. So I'm just like, I asked the AI, I was like, if I don't do it now, I'll just wait another 5 years or 10 years or something. Can I still
think I
recover
got
it
this.
then?
I'm housing. Rolling down the street. Get some fat people. I was walking down the allotment just yesterday. I was acting rather gay. He was leathered up just like a cow on my farm. He had just the tattoos with a hole in his vagina. I liked him. And he looked at me. I said, "What's your job?" He's selling. I don't know, that sounds borderline homophobic. Okay, how long are we on? Okay, can I play you my favourite, epic song?
Desolation Row.
Yeah. I think this is my favourite song ever. I also wanted to see like some images of all these scenes. Are these like coming through to you in the same way they are to me, like scenes?
I was just focusing on reading something, but what?
Listen to the lyrics and try and picture what he's talking about. And think about what Desolation Row is.
Well, what scene do you imagine? I can picture stuff.
All of them. It's like little, like, it's got like, I can see sort of 25 stills from, if you just had lyrics, it would be quite an easy video to make with AI. And then you could do a cover of this song at the same time.
So what, it would just be scenes of what?
You take a verse, shove it in AI, get AI to do it. It's just a little film. It's a film and a song. It would work. I'm just asking your permission.
But what are you picturing? Like what? I mean, I was
Just like a really good video. There's The little car. Do you remember that image, which was like an onion running across the street? It was a zebra crossing on a pebbled road.
I can't picture that. I'm not sure.
It was a little orange and an onion was chasing it.
What does Desolation Row? What does that mean to you? It's kind of like, I don't know. I'm picturing that as just like a general way of seeing.
I know there's like so many trains of thought on this one. It's been compared to I guess the war, you know, between Israel and Palestine, and I think it's been compared to Auschwitz.
Oh wow, okay, it's more extreme than I was thinking. Just people just generally on the verge of their life kind of collapsing. Like that's like someone like on the verge of being homeless or like losing their career or like I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like things are falling apart and you're kind of teetering.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And then that's something that you can imagine across all different kinds of lives, like.
Yeah.
But then he's also talking about this kind of like the carnival and just like all these different characters that you see.
Oh, James, can I just give you a riposte quickly?
What's riposte? You have to educate me.
What about a little short story, Louis style, about a town called Desolation Row? And it's not a town, it's an airstrip with tents on it. No, it's not. It's a town. No, it's not. Desolation Row. Yeah, there's got to be like an airfield that was. So it's one of those nuclear testing sites, right? You know, where they have those weird houses. And it's just after the nuclear things happened. That's called Desolation Row. And it's about families suffering from nuclear fallout and complaining about Westerners thinking they're weak. And
What
there's
country is it in?
America. It's 20 years from now, communist Muslims have taken over. Yeah, that's alright. No, you can say that now, communist Muslims.
Well,
I don't think
seems
that.
kind of incompatible in a way. I don't know. Maybe it could be.
I think we can say it now. They've changed it from Islamophobia to anti-Muslim, so we're okay. Sense finally got through. That took ages.
What happened?
They were trying to pitch Islamophobia as a hate speech thing. But I heard today it's anti-Muslim. They changed it, so now it's good. So it's anti-Muslim.
What's the difference
Well,
between Islamophobia and anti-Muslim? It sounds like the same thing. It's just like someone who's anti that religion. Right?
Why would you not be scared of Islam?
Well, I don't see what that danger it's causing right now.
Why would you not be scared of You should be scared at all times.
I'm scared of MAGA.
You should be scared of.
I'm scared of.
Oh, you're in England.
billionaires.
In England, you're way more likely to be killed by a Muslim than a MAGA person.
No, but my life conditions are reduced by that kind of right-wing political economic theory. I think that's why everyone's struggling financially. So yeah, I'm not worried that they're going to kill me. I'm also not worried that Muslims are going to kill me. I'm not at all worried about that. But I am worried about people in our own countries making our lives harder.
Why are you not worried about terrorists killing you right now when there's a war going on?
Actually, I'm just not. I just don't think there's. I mean, we're attacking Iran. Iran wasn't attacking us. Like, we're the bad guys. We're the aggressor. in this situation.
You're not dealing with rational actors.
We're not rational.
We're not dealing with rational actors. I don't.
We're not rational.
No, I know.
I don't know about them, but I know that we're not rational.
No, I'm talking. We're not rational. I mean, these guys are so not rational. You can't believe what they're capable of. Terrorists, they'll be on super alert right now because of this attack. Be very afraid of it. So the difference between calling Islamophobia, I'm a little bit concerned because we're scared about this possibilities, to simply going, we don't hate Muslims, it is an important thing, and there is a reason why Christopher Hitchens coined the phrase. Islamophobia is a coin invented by cowards, used by fascists to manipulate morons. It was never right. Nothing sticks in my head like that unless it's right.
So what about?
And I've been fucking vindicated because apparently it's come through and they're calling it anti-Muslim things. So the law's been changed.
So it's like anti-Semitism.
Yeah,
but for Muslims.
exactly. I'm just saying it's, but that's a win for free speech. So I want to say that's good.
So what's the difference between Islamophobia and anti-Semitism? Except for that one is on Islam, one's on Judaism.
We'll talk about that next week. Right, that was episode 8 of No Hot Ashes. Cheers.